voicing the concerns of her constituents, but not in Washington, but in our nation's southern border. Tenney had the opportunity to see the crisis at the border firsthand. News Channel 2's Brent Carney spoke with her from El Paso, and he joins us now live in studio with more. Brent, good evening.
Well, good evening, Jason. Tenney says what's happening at the border is a humanitarian crisis and said it's going to take a lot of work to fix the many issues that plague our southern border.
Border Patrol is reporting a record number of illegal immigrants and drugs crossing over our border. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney took a trip out to Border Patrol's El Paso facility to see firsthand what is being called a humanitarian crisis.
Well, I had an opportunity to go to the border. I was linking it up with another trip, and because we have such a crisis at the border, I felt it was an imperative that I see it for myself.
Now, when we think of the border crisis, we think of images of countless children living on top of each other and poor quality of care due to overwhelming numbers. But Tenney says none of that is what she saw in El Paso.
I was really impressed with the way that the Customs and Border Patrol were handling the children in terms of the cleanliness of the facility. The kids were not on top of each other. It was very well organized, very clean.
Tenney also visited the famed but unfinished border wall, or barrier as the Border Patrol calls it. Tenney says Border Patrol agents say the gaps in the barriers present one of the biggest problems for them. Tenney says even though the southern border is thousands of miles away from the 22nd Congressional District, the crisis at the border affects the entire country, including here in upstate New York.
Not just the humanitarian crisis, there is a major uptick in illegal and illicit drugs coming across the border, not just in the southern border, but also in our northern border.
Tenney says improving our legal immigration process and encouraging immigrants to come across legally will begin to provide a solution to the crisis.
We need to provide a legal immigration solution, but we cannot continue to encourage people to break the law, risk their lives, put their children in the hands of these human smugglers and drug traffickers and get them across the border in such unsafe and difficult conditions.
Now, Tenney says that bipartisan legislation is key in solving the crisis at the border and hopes that Republicans and Democrats can come together in Washington to fix this issue. In the studio, Brent Carney, News Channel 2.